garden and look what I find. Stuck in the netting, the culprit eating my seeds. Ah! Let's get him out. Okay, let's see here. Let's try to get him out. There's the comet. 80,000 years before it passes again. How cool is that? I don't know if I can zoom in. It's going to get grainy when I zoom in. But look at that.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Baseline Farms. My name is Jade. Alright, so today we are going to be doing a garden vlog. So many things have been happening. I have been picking tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. Oh my goodness, you guys, I have been picking cherry tomatoes like mad. It's so exciting because I planted my tomato seedlings or seeds 2 weeks behind everybody pretty much. I started my seeds, usually I would start my seeds in, I want to say early February, but this time I didn't. And I'll start my seeds indoors in little seed trays and things like that. So that's how I normally did it. But this year I've started my seeds a little two weeks later because it was so cold for so long. But then it was so hot also for a long period of time. And we had some 100-degree weather for weeks in a row. So my tomatoes are finally coming in, which is nice because the weather has been nice. It's like fall. And let's see, so many things. Let's see, we saw a comet. And I don't think I don't think I've talked about that in our last few vlogs. So we saw a comet, and it's a comet that will pass by Earth in another 80,000 years. So we just saw that. That was a few weeks ago, I want to say. And then, what else? God, it feels like so many things have happened. Hey, John, anything else exciting happen? I know he has his earbuds in, so he might not hear me. What else? I feel like other things have happened, but I forgot. Maybe it's going to come up to me. Maybe it'll come back to me when I'm giving the vlog of what's been happening around the farm. So we've been working on the bridge. John just kind of finished that. Him and Evan been working on that. We just had our Halloween party, and I don't know if you saw the last video where we harvested the lambs. Oh, the processor came out, and the lambs are gone. That's another big thing. So that was really sad. The butcher did call us. They did get the lambs, and they came in at a really good weight, so I'm really happy about that. But it is sad because, you know, the farm is now quiet. But let's see. So now the lambs are gone, so we should be picking them up soon. And then, and we've gone to a different butcher. So we took our lambs to a different butcher because our last butcher, I don't know, just family, the family changed, like the type of service changed. So we just decided to go with the new type of butcher who will package our meat. So this is the first time we've ever gone through this butcher. So I'm hoping that it's a good job. Let's see. So that's happened. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, the puppies are getting bigger. Well, let's just go ahead and go through this farm vlog. And maybe as I go through the farm vlog, I'll remember some of the things that have been happening. All right, so let's just start off on this first garden bed. This first garden bed is a garden bed that I started some carrots. So let me go ahead and show you how they're doing. All right, I just asked John if there was anything else exciting that happened, and he's thinking about it. So over here in this garden bed, we have some carrots, and the carrots are doing so good, you guys. Look at how good these carrots are doing. Look at that. Oh, I think, you guys, I think that we are going to be able to harvest some carrots for Thanksgiving, and that's going to be the first time ever that I have planted things that I'm going to be able to use in our Thanksgiving dinner. So that is so exciting. I cannot even wait. So we have 2 rows of carrots right over here. So it doesn't look like it, but I did succession sown some more seeds right in this little area. And this is the area where the puppies got into the garden bed and dug a humongous hole. Let me turn off this drip. I still have to manually turn on the drip for the garden bed. So usually what I'll do is I'll soak them really good, and then and then water them that way. But I have gotten better, so I know which beds, you know, like the tomatoes and things like that, which ones I shouldn't put them on too long. Okay, so this is how this garden bed's doing. Now, I do have some spinach, and you cannot tell because of all these weeds, you guys. These weeds are just off the hook. There's really nothing, I mean, they're so green. They're so green and lush. That's one thing I could say, is that my weeds are looking so green and lush because the soil is so rich. But the carrots are coming in, the spinach is coming in. I feel like I want to put some more spinach in here because, you guys, in the beginning of the video, I showed you a video of the birds. There's birds that are getting into the garden beds with the netting over the top of it. So I did find some more netting, some extra netting. So I did put an extra layer of netting over the top. I don't know if it's going to work or not because it wasn't that much. I just kind of layered over the top. So I hope it works to prevent the birds from coming in eating my seeds, because that's what they're doing. They're coming in eating the seeds, eating the baby seedlings that are popping up. So in one of the garden beds that I started some garlic and I started some spinach, I barely have any spinach popping up. But let me show you how this other garden bed's doing, the one with the San Marzanos and the green beans. Okay, so over here in this garden bed, we have our green beans. So we have two different varieties of green beans. We have our Blue Lake beans and we have our Python pole beans. One is by Lake Valley Seed Company, and the other one is by Johnny Selected Seeds. And they have both given me so many green beans, and I have been so pleased with them. And I say this every year that I'm going to grow them again, and I might grow them again because I have so many of them. I did save some of the pods, and they're so fun. Let's see. For example, like this one right here. You know, it is pretty big, so it doesn't really taste good when you're cooking with it. But I didn't know this. If you were to pop them open like this, at this stage, and eat the seed, it almost tastes like an edamame. It's so good. It's like sweet. It's delicious. So, you can eat them fresh like this, or you could, you know, obviously harvest them when you're supposed to harvest them and stir fry or steam them or whatever. What I've been doing is I've been blanching them and then freezing them. So that's really cool. Then, not only that, you can harvest the beans when they're all dried, which I don't know if I could. I know I have some in here. I know I have some in here. If I find one, I'll show you. You can harvest the bean, and when it's dried, save the bean to use it to replant again, or cook with them. I've never done that before. You know, I was just telling our family the other day, just last night I was telling the kids and John how I wanted to start growing my own black beans and kidney beans, because I was just at the Costco the other day and I was purchasing them, like the canned black beans and red kidney beans, and I was thinking, you know what? I feel like I could grow these myself, shell them, and can them myself. I mean, I know that's adding a lot more to my plate because the convenience of having the canned, you know, already pre-canned things, it's convenient. But it would be nice to have my own beans, you know, just to have my own beans because I know I can do it. So that's a thought process. I'm going to think it through a little bit more because I know that's adding a lot more where I have to, you know, shell them. The growing part is the easy part. It's the preserving things like that. That means I'm going to have to learn how to pressure can. And I might just find someone, a friend of mine, that can teach me how to pressure can. So I might just go and do that and just take a lesson from them. But that is my goal for these green beans, is to maybe you know, harvest as much as I can, preserve as much as I can, and probably grow these next year because I have all those beans saved, which is so awesome. All right, so now let me share with you how these San Marzanos are doing. All right, so here we have the San Marzanos, and the San Marzanos are doing so good. So I'm still getting tomatoes, you guys. It's going to be Halloween soon. So today is Sunday the 27th. And I'm still getting a bunch of tomatoes. Now the weather has been cooling down, so it's been so nice, and I think the tomatoes really like it. And because I succession sowed my tomatoes, or started my seeds 2 weeks late, and then succession sowed another set of tomatoes 2 weeks later, this is my second set of tomatoes, if that makes sense. So they are a little bit smaller, but look at that. How cool is that? This one has a little funky tip to it, but how cool is that? There's a bunch of them. I don't know why. I still have no idea why these are like this. You know how it's divided like that? I have no idea why it's like that, but there's a few of them that are like that, and not only on this trellis, but on a different, San Marzano plant. So, but they're still delicious. They are still so good. And I still have a ton of beans in here, you guys. So many beans. Look at that. I was at the job site the other day. Oh, here's a dried bean pod. And I was supposed to be doing some containers and things, but then there was a leak at one of the job sites. So I did a little video of me kind of getting there, but I don't know. So here's the bean that I could pop in the seed for next year. How cool is that? Look at that little dry pod, bunch of beans inside. So I don't even have to purchase beans. Isn't that so neat? How resilient. And then the beans that I'll put, like if I pop these beans in the garden for next year, they're just going to be stronger and even more pest resistant. And I'm sure they'll do really well in our climate. The more I harvest the beans, the more I save them, the more I could have some really strong, hearty beans. And I have seeds everywhere. I just have some seeds in the bathroom, on the bathroom counter. I need to take those out into the trailer and just make sure that I preserve them the right way. But this is how the San Marzanos are doing so fantastic. And I have to go through here and harvest a bunch of these tomatoes. So that is so awesome, because now I can make some salsa, some stewed tomatoes, because I wasn't making any of that because number one, it was too hot. And number two, I started them a little later. So when everyone was getting tomatoes, I was getting zero. But let me show you how the other garden bed is doing, where we planted the turnips. And this is the garden bed where the birds have been getting into. And this is the garden bed where I put a second layer of netting, kind of, just whatever I had left over. All right, so here is the garden bed where we started some turnips. I did succession sow some more seeds because I believe the birds were getting in here and they're eating all of the seeds. Which I know because I caught them in here with the netting still. And they just, I don't know how they get through the netting. I mean, I went through around it to check to make sure there's no openings. I don't know how. Okay, so, and then Val loves birds. I didn't know that. So there was a bird that was caught in here and she just snatched it right on the outside of the net. Oh, it's so horrible. So, yeah, she's a bird killer too. All right, so here are the turnips right over here, and we have some seedlings. Let me show you how they're looking. Look at that. So these are the turnips that we started, and then I succession sowed some more seeds because I felt like the birds were eating them, and I feel like I was right, because now these ones are all popping up ever since I put the netting in. And I know this because I go through this every year, but I just don't put the netting on right away for, I don't know, I feel like that's going to be the year, like the year that I don't put the netting up. I think, oh, this is the year that the birds are not going to eat my seedlings. That's not true. They don't care what year it is. They're going to eat them regardless. So the beets are coming in. We have some carrots coming in. I did succession sow some more carrots just because I felt like the birds ate them. So I really hope that we get a good amount of carrots and turnips. And I feel we're going to get some turnips for Thanksgiving. So I'm excited, you guys. This is the first year that I was able to grow some things that are going to be able to be used in our Thanksgiving feast. So that's so awesome. Now let me show you how the other garden bed's doing, where we started some peas, some spinach, some carrots, and what else did we start? I think that's pretty much it. All right, so over here in this garden bed, this is where we started a bunch of peas. And look, some of them are already popping up. Now I did put a netting on this one as well, but the birds don't seem to be getting into this one as much as they're getting into the other one. And then in the very front row, I started some spinach, and you can see the spinach is now popping up right there. Look at that. And then over here on the other side, this is where I started some broccoli. Oh yeah, broccoli, that's what I started. Broccoli right here. You can see some of the seeds popping up. I feel maybe the birds might have gotten some of the seeds in here. And then we have some more broccoli that's popping up all in this row, right in there. Then in these two rows, this is where I started some carrots. And we have a bunch of carrots all right there. And I had some tags. Oh yeah, they're just buried. So that's exciting. I hope we get all of these vegetables growing in. Wouldn't that look amazing to have this whole bed? Oh, that would just look so awesome. All right, so now off to this bed. This bed, oh my goodness, you guys, the bed is full of voles. The whole bed. Now we do have some green onion right here. See that? But look at these holes. And this is the bed that it's like just living in right here. But we still have some a bunch of little tomato plants that are doing so good. So yeah, I'm not even sure what to do with this garden bed. I do want to remove the strawberries and really give this garden bed a good amendment, and see if there's any voles living in here. But I don't know. I don't want to kill the strawberries. So I need to do some more research and find out how to transplant them. Because I did pull out some strawberries from another garden bed, and I thought they were dead, and I was going to rip them out and just toss them away. But I noticed that one of them was having some new growth. So maybe they are resilient, and maybe I'm not going to have any problems. But I need to find out if voles are living in here first, or if these just remnants of when they were living in here. So, but I haven't gotten it ever since the voles were coming into the garden. I wasn't getting any strawberries. But this is the garden bed that has a bunch of holes in it. So now let me show you how the lemongrass is doing. The lemongrass is doing so good, you guys. Oh my goodness, I cannot complain. This lemongrass is like so beautiful. It produced so many big, ginormous shoots in there, so huge, and it just keeps on giving. I just love it. It looks like this all year round, even in the colder weather, and we don't really have real harsh winters. Our winters, like we do get some frost here and there, and it does get sometimes below 32 degrees, but it doesn't stay below that temperature for very long. So it does so well out here in this climate, in zone 9B. So by the way, we're in zone 9B, so I don't know if I mentioned that. And I believe it changed. I think we're now considered zone A, but zone 9, we're just in zone 9. So now let me show you how the other bed is doing. All right, so here we have our Jerusalem artichokes. Look at that. Now they're ready. They're ready to be starting to, I can start cutting these back, and we can start harvesting some Jerusalem artichokes soon, which I have still a ton of pickled ones that I pickled last season. And I don't know, I might just pickle some this season because it's really delicious and it's really good for your gut health. So I've done a lot of research on the Jerusalem artichoke, and it's supposed to be really healthy for you. So, yeah, I might just be harvesting some. Maybe some people are getting them as gifts because it is actually pretty delicious. So in this garden bed, not only do I have these Jerusalem artichokes, but I also have a bunch of asparagus. And I did some research because I didn't know what this was right here in the back here. It looked like a little asparagus Christmas tree, but it's asparagus, and that's what it looks like. I Googled it, and I was looking for images on what asparagus looks like when it's babies, when you first plant it, and this is how it looks like. So I'm excited, guys. I can't wait. And I don't know if I'm going to be getting a ton of asparagus because I've never grown it before. This is my first time ever starting any, because I know it takes, I've read about it. I don't really physically know because I've never harvested any. But I read it that it takes a little longer to get some asparagus. So I'm hoping that we get some asparagus in the coming years. And you know, I was trying to do this garden vlog before the sun was over the garden, so it is so bright right now. But let me go ahead and show you how let's see where we're going, to the blackberry. All right, so over here we have our blackberry bush, and it's doing really, really good. I mean, we're not getting a lot of blackberries, but it's still really green. It's looking really nice. And I'm hoping that the more I take care of it, the more maybe next summer we'll get some blackberries, and it's just going to be amazing. Because I have, every year I've gotten a little bit more, and you know, but not a lot. And I know John's like, we need to get more blackberries if you want to get a lot. But I don't know, one's enough for me for right now, because I know that they'll get big, and I know that they could throw out more shoots and things like that. And also, this one's a thornless raspberry bush. So the cool part about this is that I was thinking maybe I could plant this, because we have some pomegranates. Maybe I could plant this over by the pomegranates, like in a corner, and we'll have some blackberries growing out there, because we finally got irrigation out there. And that might not be a bad idea, to get it out of this container, because eventually I don't want it to take over this whole section right here. I don't know, it's probably going to be years before that time comes, but it would be nice to have some thornless blackberry bush out, you know, by the other pomegranates. I mean, by the pomegranates, not other pomegranates. We only have one pomegranate patch. All right. So now let me share with you how this garlic bed is doing right over here. So this is a garden bed that we started some garlic, we started some spinach, and this is also the garden bed that I don't think we're going to be getting any spinach, because I did not put any netting over the top of this garden bed. And the birds have been coming in here and chomping around on it. But I do need to put some netting over the top. And you know what I'm going to do is I want to go get some more of those little metal trellising things that I was using to trellis up the green beans. They're called masonry ladders. I think that's what it's called. And they work really well. They work really well. I don't have to pound anything into the garden bed, like rebar or anything like that. I could just, you know, put them right into the garden bed and stake them in, and it's a perfect size. So I might just grab a couple of those and put it over some of the garden beds and just have them, because that way, I don't know, I feel like it's easier. It really is easier. And they're really not that expensive, like $4 or $5 or something like that. It could get pretty pricey though if you buy a whole bunch of them, but they're so versatile. So I might just do that for a few of the garden beds when I start seeds, is just do that. Because right now, if I want to put a netting over any of the garden beds, I have to pound some rebar into the corners, and then I have to bend the PVC pipe. And it's not that it's difficult, it's just that sometimes when you're trying to get things done in a hurry, it takes a lot longer to do it that way. And with that masonry ladder, it just has those two little prongs on each end, and you just pop it right in there, and then it's a perfect size. So like the hoop is a perfect size hoop. So I might just do that. But let me share with you how these beefsteak tomatoes are doing. Oh my goodness, they are doing so good. You guys, look at these beefsteak tomatoes. Look at that. Oh, I hope they ripen up, and I hope they're delicious. Oh, look at there's one blushing right now, right in the back there. I don't know if you could see it. Oh, that's so exciting. See that? Look at all these. They are looking so healthy and so beautiful. So many of them. And so this is where we have the trellis. That's a little arch trellis. And this is how it's looking. Not quite to the top, but almost there. Look at that. Just a little bit to go. Oh, these are those bronze torch. Look at that. Isn't that so awesome? So now the bronze torch right here, this one was the self-seeded themselves in one of the garden beds. I popped it out, and I put one right here, and then I put another one right there. And they're doing so good. So delicious. And then we have, oh, got one limb down. And then we have some more beefsteak tomatoes. I have not seen any hornworms. This is the plants, you know, these plants were the first original plants that I've seen hornworms on, and I have not seen any. So thank goodness for that. But that's how that little trellising, and the tomatoes are doing so fantastic. All right, so over here we have our potatoes. We have some golden potatoes, some red potatoes. Some of them I bought from the nursery. Some of them I just used from our kitchen scraps and things like that. And this is how they're doing. So good. You guys, if you haven't grown potatoes, you should try it. You could grow it in a bucket. You could grow it, you just got to drill some holes in the bucket, make sure it has some drainage. But you can grow them like in a planter or something like that. And they are so delicious. Like in a container. Just grow them in a container. They're so good. Growing up, a lot of these vegetables, so we still buy a lot of food. We're trying to not buy a lot of processed foods, but we still go to the market. We still buy cheese and milk and things like that, which I'm hoping that eventually we'll get a dairy goat. And because milk doesn't settle well with me, and I heard that you could drink if your stomach is uneasy with regular cow's milk, you could drink goat's milk, and it's supposed to be easier for your digestion, I guess. So I really want to try it. But first, I have a friend that she raises dairy goats, and her daughter breeds them and things like that. So I do want to go to her farm and try out the goat's milk, just see if I'm going to enjoy it or not, because it's a commitment. So I want to try it out, drink it, see if I like it, and go from there and see if it's delicious. Because if so, oh, that would be a game changer, because I love milk. And if something like that can be, like if we could do that ourselves, oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. So now back to the potatoes. So when I started planting all my vegetables, I would go to the market to go buy like tomatoes. Then I started planting my own. Oh my goodness. The flavor is nothing like the supermarket. It is so flavorful. It's so delicious. It reminds me of food that we ate when we were kids that actually tasted like food, not watered down. So the tomatoes were so delicious. And then I remember telling John I wanted to grow some potatoes. And he was like, don't grow potatoes. That's so cheap. You could just buy a bag of them from the supermarket. So then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm going to try it. Because it looks so much fun to see people digging the potatoes. Like I watch other YouTubers and they're digging the potatoes from the ground. I'm like, that looks so much fun. So then I started planting some potatoes. And I want to say, was it last year? Was my first year starting potatoes. And so this year was my first year ever harvesting potatoes. Oh my goodness. They are so good. I want to say, no, maybe this is my second year. Maybe. Because I remember planting some potatoes in another garden bed. So I started harvesting them. It was so, the word is, I guess, I don't know, exciting to see what you're going to be getting, to see what you're going to be digging. Now, granted, you are going to be running across bugs. Like we ran across a few Jerusalem, like potato bugs. We ran across some potato bugs, which are really ugly. But the fruit that you get, the vegetable that you get, the potato itself is so good. It's creamy. It tastes like a potato. We still were buying potatoes from the store because I'm not growing enough to last us for the whole year. So even when we get the potatoes from the store, even if they're organic, you could still taste the difference. You could taste the difference between the homegrown potatoes and the store-bought potatoes, even if they're organic. It just has a different flavor. I don't think it's the variety, because I do buy the golden potatoes. I mean, that's where I got these ones from. Some of them I bought, and they're just so different. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. I don't know what the farmers are doing different than what we're doing. Maybe it's the pesticides. I have no idea. I don't know if they're using pesticides. I have no idea. But I just know that the ones that I grow here at home taste so different than the ones that I buy from the market. And the ones that I buy from the market, those are some of them are in here in the garden. So I don't know. It's weird. All right, so let me show you how the raspberry, is it the raspberry? Yeah, the raspberry bush is doing not too well. Here we have our raspberry bush. It's growing, guys. It's growing. There's a lot of new growth. It does not look too good, because I gave it a good, like, you know, trimming. And you guys, there are some praying mantis larvae in here. So let me give you a good look at what the praying mantis larva looks like. Let me show you. It looks so alien-like. Do you see that? There's two of them. There's one on one side and the other one's on the other side. But two praying mantis right there. I wonder if there's just one praying mantis in that cocoon, or is there like many praying mantises? Because I've seen the praying mantises, and they're so tiny when they're babies, and I feel like that cocoon is so big for just one baby praying mantis. I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on it to see if it's going to hatch. I'm scared of bugs, you know, all kinds of bugs, but they're very interesting. They're so interesting to me. Okay, so over here we have our zucchini, and I still see a bunch of zucchini. Like, you see one big one right there that got away from me right there, but another one, small one right next to it. It's still producing zucchini, but I know that eventually I'm going to have to be removing these plants because the weather is cooling down now. And you guys, for those big zucchini, at first I used to just cut them up, give them to the chickens, or make zucchini noodles and eat them that way. But now I started using that to make brownies. You cannot even tell. You grate up the brownies until they're very finely grated, and then you put them into your brownie mix, like just a good handful. Oh my goodness, it keeps the brownies so moist and so delicious. I'm definitely going to have to do a video on that. I don't do a lot of cooking videos, you guys, and the reason why is because sometimes we're always working and we're always, you know, I'm always so busy. I'm out here, I'm out at the job sites, and we use a lot of dishes. My household uses a lot of dishes. And for some reason, the household doesn't wash their dishes. So I'm responsible for washing everyone's dishes. And before I like to cook, I like to clean the kitchen before I cook. So I like to, like, you know, wash the dishes and get everything situated. And there's times where I just want to show you a cooking video and do a cooking demonstration with you, but I don't want to show you my messy kitchen. It's not that it's dirty, it's just lived in. That makes sense. It's just lived in. And I tell my family, like, gosh, you guys, help me out here. Like, I don't use all these dishes. All right, so sidetracked. Here we have our basil at the bottom. I don't know if I said that. And I've been making some pesto. And now it's that, oh, that's where it's coming. I want to show you how to make the brownies and the pesto and all these little dishes. I'm probably going to have to get over that and just show you. And that's just real life. You know, that's just real life because we live in our house and we live in our kitchen and it's not always spotless. And there's times where, you know, we want to cook things, but I can't always get to those dishes all at once. You know what I mean? All right. So let me show you how, first, the strawberries. Let me show you how these strawberries are doing. Not too good, but I think they're going to make a comeback. Cross our fingers. Okay. All right, so here we have our strawberries. I know they don't look good. I look at them every day and I'm thinking, today's the day, guys. Today is the day I'm going to pull you out. And then I did. And then I pulled one of them out, this one right here. And as I was pulling it out, I was taking a close look and I noticed there was some new growth. So then I popped it back in there real fast. So, I don't know. I'm just going to leave them in here and see what happens. I know they don't look good. Some of them are kind of crispy. It looks pretty sad and pathetic. But like I said, I saw some new growth. So I feel like if there's some new growth there, then there's some new growth in the other ones too. So I'm just going to let it go. Maybe they're just in shock because, you know, I pulled them out of their element. And maybe they might make a comeback, guys. Maybe. You know, because they're not all crispy. And I'm assuming if they're going to be dead, they're all going to be super crispy. But no, they're not. So I'm going to give them a chance and see what happens. All right, so now let me share with you how the San Marzanos, no. I already showed you the San Marzanos. What else? The eggplant and the garlic. Let me show you how that's doing. All right, so this is the garden bed that we started some garlic, and we also started some lettuce, and we also started some spinach. Now, like I said, I did not put any netting over top of these beds that I started the seeds, and we do have a lot of birds on this property, and so I feel that the birds came in here and ate my seeds. That's what I feel, because I don't see any. I see only garlic, these guys right here. So, you know, you could still succession sow seeds in our zone. So I'm going to succession sow some more spinach and some more lettuce in hopes that the birds don't eat those. And I'm going to try to put, like, I don't know how I'm going to put netting over this because I have these eggplants. So maybe I won't put any seeds in here. I don't know. We'll see. But these eggplants are doing so good, you guys. They're finally coming in. Let me show you how they're looking. Look at this little baby. So you guys, I didn't know when I first started planting vegetables, I had no idea what to expect. So like, here's a eggplant flower. There's a flower. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that so beautiful? And it's purple, just like the fruit. So on the eggplant flower, you could see do you see those little thorns? I don't know if you could see them, but there's little thorns on the eggplant, like right over here. So when the eggplant starts to form, it'll form right in here, in that little, right as the eggplant starts to form and push out, the flower will drop off, and then it'll start looking like this, and then it'll just start getting bigger, and it's so cute. Look at that. But you have to be careful when you harvest them because they do have these little spiky thorns, which I did not know, and it hurts. Yeah. So we have a good amount of eggplant. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 eggplant in this garden bed right here. Last year I only grew 1, and last year I taught myself how to make a Mediterranean dish using this eggplant. And let me tell you, it was delicious. It was so good. I planted 4 eggplant plants because obviously that 1 eggplant was enough, even though I couldn't keep up with it. No, I did keep up with it because I was making that dish nonstop. Everyone loved it. Then you have another little eggplant popping out. Let me show you how cute that is. Look at that. Do you see that little eggplant popping out? So cute. Look how cute that is. So that is going to be an eggplant right there. That's so neat. So amazing. Look at this little guy. It's about a little flower about to open up. Right there. That's so cool. Vegetables just growing food amazes me because I did not realize how satisfying it's going to be. It definitely takes some time. You have to have some patience, you know, before you can see your fruits of your labor. But man, just to see it grow from a baby all the way to, like, you know, full grown, and then to produce a fruit, and then you cook with it, and then you eat it, is amazing. Because like I said, John and I were trying to get away from buying like processed foods. We're just trying to get away from buying any kind of processed foods, any kind of products that have like fructose corn syrup or things like that. Because I've noticed when I eat things that have that type of product in it, my joints get swollen. My hands get swollen. And so ever since we've been eating clean, and ever since I've been starting this garden, and you know, my daughter is just like, great, we're all ingredient household, which we're not, but we are, I guess. Because I still buy like pastas, we buy rice, we buy flour, we buy those types of things. But a lot of majority of this stuff, like the vegetables, the pesto, the diced tomatoes, the spaghetti sauce, paste, like any type of spaghetti, any type of sauce, tomato-based sauce, I make. And so we haven't had to buy those kinds of things. So it would be nice to be able to, you know, can our own beans, like black beans and kidney beans. It would be so nice to do those kinds of things and slowly start. If those things I can grow and preserve, I would love to start doing that. I would love to start, you know, being more self-sufficient in that way, because I feel that that's just, for us, it's just such a healthy way for us to eat. And not everyone can do that. And I feel so blessed that we're able to do this. But not everyone can do this. So I try to tell like our friends, like, you can grow in a patio. I didn't always have this. We didn't always live like this. This is not something that I grew up with. This is not something that I ever imagined me doing. I never imagined me harvesting lamb. I never imagined me learning how to make dishes. You know, it was my daughter and I for so long that I thought it was just going to be me and my daughter forever. And I never thought I was going to meet John. I never thought we were going to have a farm or a horse or lands or anything. And so this is like a dream come true. This is so exciting to see these things happen right before our eyes. And yeah, and to have you a part of this journey that we're going on. It's just so amazing. So yeah, we still go to the market. We still buy a bunch of things. But our goal is to slowly, eventually just start eating just as much as we can, growing as much as you can, eating the things that we grow, eating seasonal, preserving a bunch of stuff. My goal is to preserve a bunch of things because really I am the only one that's preserving it. No one else is preserving the food but me. I say we, like everyone is on board because I think of we as a family, but it's really me. I'm the one that's planting the seeds. I'm the one that's harvesting the vegetables. I'm the one that's preserving a lot of this food. And it's because I enjoy it. It brings fulfillment when I see everyone's faces and they're eating it, and it's just so exciting because I did not know how to cook. All this cooking and stuff like that is all new to me. It's all new since the pandemic. I mean, when I met John, I literally had like 5 different dishes. And everyone that I worked with in the salon used to make fun of me because I had, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 different dishes. And, Saturday and Sunday we got to eat. And so I would mix up those 5 dishes every once in a while. And then finally, I think John noticed it. John noticed that, I was like changing the rotation of the dishes, and he was like, "He ate this already," and then I think he figured out that I really didn't know how to cook that well because I wasn't raised with a mother. I wasn't raised, I was a business owner. I was a business owner. I ran a salon, and so cooking was, not one of those things that was important to me at the time because I didn't have a family. But then as I got older and I had my daughter, I remember going to the farmer's market. I remember it started where I started making my daughter's baby food. And because I would remember going to the market and I remember looking at the baby food and I remember thinking like, how can it stay on the shelf for this long? Like, that's kind of weird that baby food doesn't have to be refrigerated and it just stays like and I know they can it, but there's all kinds of preservatives. Like if this is just bananas, then why does it have so many different other words in it that I cannot pronounce? It just doesn't have banana. So I started learning how to preserve my daughter's food when she was born. When she was like being introduced to foods and I was introducing to foods, that's when I started really dabbling into preserving, like making baby food for my daughter. I got a little hand mill that I would, if we went out to eat or if I cooked any food at home or anything like that, because when my daughter was born, I did cook, but I didn't cook a whole bunch. I cooked like really simple dishes like spaghetti or fried rice or super easy dishes and nothing extravagant. So when we go out to eat, I would meal my daughter's food and and I would feed her that way. So she wasn't getting a lot of preservatives in her baby food. So she went from straight like a breastfed her, and I did supplement with formula and then fed her, the food that I made, the baby food that I made, to regular adult food. So like milled, you get it. If you have kids, you understand what I'm talking about. But that's how I started really preserving. So I started preserving food a long time ago before I even started farming. I didn't know that's exactly what I was doing at the time. And so now here I am, a little bit older, a little bit, learning. And I'm not going to say wiser because I feel I am wiser, but compared to me in my 20s, but I'm still learning. I'm still growing. So I can't say I'm that wise yet, but I'm getting there. So that is, I don't even know how I got onto that subject. I think I started talking about the eggplant, but this is how this garden bed is doing. Oh, we started talking about, trying to eat clean, trying to buy non-preserved food, like, But on with the garden vlog. Let me show you how the beefsteak tomatoes are doing. The beefsteak tomatoes are doing so good. I just noticed one right now that needs to be harvested. And I don't need to harvest it right now, but it's starting to crack a little bit. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and harvest it right now. I did take all the other tomatoes out of my pocket and did put them on the table because I have been known to accidentally squish them or forget them in my coveralls, which you guys, it is getting cooler now that finally I get to bring out my coveralls because it was getting so hot for a while there. I'm watching Bella because I see her over there and I was wondering what she was doing, what she was eating. Grass. She's eating grass. So yeah, the weather has been so cool that now these tomatoes are doing good. And I finally took off the shade cloth, that kind of thing, because on this one garden bed, I did put some shade cloth on it because it kept, the tomatoes weren't doing good. But now I'm getting some tomatoes. Now this is not, I don't feel like, these are not my best tomatoes. I do like the Cherokee purples and I do like the pink Berkeleys that I did not grow any of those this year, but these are still good. I'll still take them. They're still delicious. Now let me go ahead and show you how the other bed is doing with the green beans. But first, look at the Myers lemon. They're finally turning yellow. I'm so excited. You guys, I know it's small. I pray that this is not an ornamental lemon tree. I pray that this is actual, like a Myers lemon, like it actually has some juice in it. Because these are pretty small, but it's okay. It's all right. I'll take them if they're real. If it's not an ornamental plant, I'm going to be super excited. This is probably going to make one glass of lemonade. But I'm hoping that it's going to get bigger. And you know what I'm thinking is that maybe I shouldn't keep it in this garden. Maybe I should plant it out, where we have all the other trees, like where our pomegranates are at. I feel like that's where I should put this tree, just because maybe it's going to get bigger. I've seen other Myers lemon trees, and I've seen how big they've gotten, and so I feel like I don't want to have any more shade than what we already have in this garden, that I'm probably going to ask John to dig me a hole where I could put some potting soil and things like that and grow it out there with the pomegranates. And I think it'll probably really like it because there's a lot of sun out there too. But that is how it's doing. I'm so happy. I am so excited. I cannot wait to try these Myers lemon because I've had this lemon tree for so many years. I'm talking probably 10 years, maybe more. And I've never had lemon on it until now. Okay, so for the beans. Here are the beans. And these beans don't look too hot. These beans, I have not gotten a lot. I have not harvested a lot of beans from here. I don't know why. These are some green beans. I have no idea why they're so tiny. They're just super tiny. They're like this. They never get any bigger than this. Just like that. And then they start turning a little funky. They never turn green. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just lacking something or what, but like I said, I haven't harvested anything from them. So I feel like I'm going to be pulling these out soon and probably starting some onions because I did buy, a few bags of onion sets that I want to start planting in a couple of the garden beds. But yeah, so this is how those green beans are doing. And at first, I don't really need these trellises. You know what? I should use these trellises for the other garden bed and put the, and put the netting on the top. Because I thought at first that these beans were trellising type of beans, but they're not. They're just little regular bush beans. I thought it was. I don't know why. I thought the package said that it was a trellising bean, but it's not. So I could probably use these for the other garden bed and then pull these out and put some onions in. So yeah, I bought a couple bags of onion sets, some yellow and some red onions, and I cannot wait to plant those because the ones that we bought the ones that we harvested this year, the yellow onions, oh my gosh, so good. Everything, you guys, everything you plant is just, the taste is like delicious. So good. So this is how it's doing now. Right next to these beans, I do have some squash. These are some zucchini right in here. Oh, look at that. Another praying mantis larva. You see that right there? Pointing at it. But I haven't really gotten that much squash from here either. Maybe just a couple from this zucchini. I think this is a Black Beauty right in here. So that is how this garden bed's doing. It's still doing green. It still looks beautiful. It still looks lush. I can't really complain. I'm not going to pull these out quite yet because I still think we have a chance on them giving me some more zucchini, because the other ones I planted a lot sooner than these guys, and so those ones are ready. I feel like they're ready to come out. But I'm going to leave these in here a little bit longer and see what kind of zucchini we get from this plant right here. But let me share with you how the cherry babies are doing, our little cherry tomatoes. Here we have our cherry babies. Look at these. Oh, they're so good, you guys. They're so delicious. I'm so pleased. I've done so good with harvesting as many cherry tomatoes as I can from this garden bed right here, and we have still so many green ones that I hope come. I hope they turn red, because I've been making salsa. I've been putting them in soups. I've been doing all kinds of stuff with these cherry tomatoes. The salsa has been the best part. And then over here, this is another garden bed I'm going to amend and take out all these weeds and then plant some onions right here. And then right over here, we have some basil. This basil is like a lemon basil. And what I use this basil for, I'm just letting it seed in this area in hopes that we get a bunch of basil in here, which would be so awesome. So what I've been doing with this basil, because it has a lemony basil scent, I'm sure these are some seeds, and you just take it, I strip all the leaves off, and I use it as a tea. And it's so good. It has a lemon basil flavor to it with some honey. This is so delicious. All right, so now here we have, so these are some dahlias right here that I noticed that have some mildew, so I'm probably going to cut these back. And then we have our peppers. So here in this little area right in here, let me show you, we have a bunch of peppers. I have some Thai chilies right here that I have harvested that I am drying out, and I heard that you can string them up. I mean, there's so many of them, but I thought that would be so cute, huh? Just to have a couple little ornamental stringed. I mean, I'm going to use them. You could dry them. You could use them for cookings and all kinds of stuff. Cooking and things. And not cookies, cooking. All right. So over here we have some bell peppers. We have some green bell peppers. I did harvest some yellow bell peppers just the other day from this plant right here, but not that many. But you see back there, we have some more bell peppers right in there. We have some, what are these called? Those are Fresno chili peppers right in the back there. Some Johnny Rockets. So we actually have quite a few bell peppers right in here that I should be harvesting soon. They're not quite ready yet, but they'll be ready soon. Now over here on this side, look at these beauties right here. These are some, what are they called? Cherry crepe purples right here. Look at that. Look at that. So pretty, you guys. Man, I hope these start blushing, and I hope I get to harvest all of these tomatoes right in here, which would be so amazing. Now over here we have our beautiful dahlias. Look, you guys. Look how beautiful that is. You see that? So there's 3 dinner plate dahlias on this one right here, but it also has some powdery mildew. So I'm going to harvest these right here and just take them inside because I think they're so pretty, and then cut back this plant right there. But that is how everything is doing in the garden. Everything, I have some plants right here that I need to, I'm going to use these for some containers, but that is how everything's doing in the garden. Look how beautiful that is. This is so gorgeous. I love it. It's such a beautiful day today. Yesterday, it was oil changing day, so all the work trucks got some oil changes. But today we're just taking it easy. We're going to probably clean up around the house just a little bit here and there. But let me show you. There's John. John had a dead battery yesterday. But there he is. Say hi, babe. Hi. All right, there's the chickens right in here. You guys, the other day, I was at work, and I think one of the puppies attacked one of our chickens. She's still alive, but she is missing a lot of hair from her back. So I don't know which puppy did it. I'm going to have to find out which puppy did it. But unfortunately, I was not here to see it because I was at work. And so, I don't know. We got to nip that one in the butt. I feel I know which one did it. I feel it's Jack, because the other one's a Great Pyrenees. She doesn't do that kind of stuff. And Val, which is right here, little Val, she doesn't do that kind of stuff. And Mira, the Great Pyrenees, she doesn't do that. Hank, he doesn't do that. And then we have another Anatolia Shepherd, Great Pyrenees, and he doesn't do that. So, and he's a puppy. But Jack, that one is a Queensland Heeler. And when the chickens run, he loves chasing them. So I feel like he's the one. He's the culprit. Because I've seen him, run after the chickens before. So I need to catch him in the act and stop him from doing it. Because he's so smart. I'll show you. There he is right there. Hi, Jack. Say hello, buddy. Hi, buddy. There he is, little Jack. Isn't he so cute? He's only a couple months old. I forgot how old he is. He's like maybe 4 months old. Something like that. So cute. So I was wrong. Jack is about 6 months old. He's the youngest one. So cute. All right, so here we are in the little garden. And let me show you all the ranunculus. Look at that. Val was just stepping in here in the garden bed. You can see her little footprints. But yeah, look at all these ranunculus. Look at this, you guys. Is this just going to be so beautiful with ranunculus? Like a rainbow of ranunculus just growing. Look at that. So beautiful. Now we still have these ones right here that I just don't have the heart to even cut back at all because they're doing so beautiful. And then these zinnias right here, they definitely need to be cut back because, it's time. This season, look at these self-seeded, all these zinnias. So it's time to clean these up. And I want to really give this garden a refresher. Fix the little pavements and things like that. But keep these little garden beds because I planted some tulips right here and right here. About 100 tulips. So this is how the garden is doing. Looking so beautiful still. I love it. It just looks so nice. So now let me go ahead and show you the pomegranates and how that's doing. They are doing so, so good. I feel so bad for John. He has a toothache. It just came on just yesterday. He wasn't feeling anything until yesterday. And so hopefully he'd get in on Monday and get that tooth fixed, which would be awesome. But you see this, all those feathers? See all these little feathers right here? When I saw this, I knew that's not normal to see these little down feathers, these little baby feathers like that coming out. And as soon as I noticed that, I was like, John, did you see the chickens? Like, were the dogs chasing the chickens? And he said he didn't see anything, but that's a big bummer. So, but let me go show you how the bridge and everything's coming along. It's a little breezy out here. Oh no, we have a little toy. We had one of our guys was over yesterday helping us. This is one of those kaleidoscopes things. And he brought his daughter, so we were playing out here. But look at the pond. It's looking so beautiful. Now, we're not filling it very much right now because if we have rain and things like that, it'll fill up by itself. But look at the puppies. Val, Hank, Mira. And then here's the bridge. So now we put the dirt. So now what John's going to do is we're just going to go ahead and level this off, add some more gravel because it's kind of settling now right in here because we've been using it. So now we're going to add a little bit more gravel, and then we're going to add the gravel over there to that side as well. And then he's going to smooth it out, and then we're going to add these river rocks. We have some more of these river rocks on that other side as well. But look at that. Isn't that going to be so stinking cute? And then there's Bella right there. I love coming out to this part of the property early in the morning, and we could watch the sunrise. Our neighbors are moving out, it looks like. They're just renting that property over there, so I think we might be getting some new renters soon. Hopefully they're nice ones. But let me show you. Look at these. Look at these. Oh, look at these pomegranates, you guys. Is that just the coolest? Pomegranates are so expensive right now. Look at that. That's so awesome. This is the best year so far that we've had. Look at this pomegranate tree right here. This is the best year that by far that we've ever had as far as pomegranates go. We are full. We're like pomegranate rich right now. It is so amazing. Look at this. Look at that. How cool is that? So this one, when the bottom is opened up like a star, is when it's ready to be harvested. Like this one right here. It's kind of open up. Let me find one. We have this little guy. Not quite opened up. But so good. So good. So that is what's happening on the farm, in the garden. So many things. Things are growing. Everything's looking really good. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Be safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.